Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. I'm glad you could make it to another episode of the Retro Entertainment Archive. And this time around, I wanted to talk to you fine folks about 1980s teen comedies and dramas. Now, this is a genre of film during the 80s which was quite popular, but not just because of the subject matter that a lot of the films dealt with, but especially with a lot of the comedies, they resonated with the teen audiences, and it helped though that the people writing them, directing them, and producing them especially hit on that teen market, and a number of them resonated quite successfully with them, and that's why they became popular at the box office at the time, and in subsequent years, subsequent decades, they became all-time classics. I especially like teen comedies, some of the dramas as well, but especially some of them do have a tendency to overlap in terms of the genre, but there were a number of a handful of teen comedies that in my opinion anyway, are some of the best films of the 80s period. And I wanted to just to show you just how many I have though in physical media. These are all DVDs, but eventually I'll get copies of the Blu-rays of these films as well once I see them for a reasonably good price on Amazon or on eBay, one or the other. Now, just for example here, I'm just gonna, some of these 80s comedies I'm sure you'll be familiar with. Here is One Crazy Summer, starring John Cusack and Demi Moore, and this is a hilarious, underrated comedy. I think it flies under the radar in terms of 80s teen comedies, but this one is weird and wacky, but it's definitely enjoyable, and both John Cusack and Demi Moore give great performances in this comedy. It's really, really good. And here's another John Cusack film, Better Off Dead. Another offbeat kind of teen comedy. Here's film Some Kind of Wonderful. This one I like a lot. And great performances. And definitely worth watching. And this one here, St. Elmo's Fire. This one's another good one. The critics weren't exactly hot for this particular teen drama, I guess you could say. They were kind of panning it. But it still was popular at the time when it came out, when it was released. I'm kind of sometimes I'm iffy about this particular one, but for the most part I think though it's reasonably good. And this one here, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, definitely a classic for sure. Definitely has kind of bits of kind of raunchy humor here and there, but for the most part, I think it's pretty good. Also, here we have another classic, Say Anything, another John Cusack classic. It's most famous for that scene where John Cusack's character holds up that, well, as you can see anyway, it's while on the boombox is playing Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. It's a pretty famous scene. And here we have another famous cult classic, Heathers. This is starred Winona Ryder, and it also co-starred Shannon Doherty as well in one of her early film roles. This is a black comedy, but it's fairly funny. But I definitely recommend this one for sure. And here we have a Matthew Broderick vehicle called War Games. Definitely a nice teen drama and thriller, and I definitely recommend this one for sure. Definitely a classic. And here we have definitely a classic, Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon. And this one, yes, definitely a recommend for sure. Definitely at the end of that film, though, with that a dancing scene towards the end, though, it's really a classic scene. And now we come to a handful of films that were either written, produced, or directed, and sometimes both, or sometimes all three. And I'm talking about writer, producer, and director John Hughes. He made quite a name for himself back in the 80s, and of course, one of his classics is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a vehicle for Matthew Broderick, and this is definitely a classic for sure. Definitely a great comedy. And here we have also 16 Candles. Definitely a must if you're a John Hughes fan, especially as well if you're a Molly Ringwald fan too. And here we have Pretty in Pink, another film starring Molly Ringwald and also John Cryer, and as well as, let's see here, Andrew McCarthy. Yeah. This also, James Spader also makes an appearance well, he's one of the characters in this film as well. And of course, my all-time favorite John Hughes film, The Breakfast Club. Yep, this is definitely one of my favorite films of the 80s. I definitely enjoyed watching this film on broadcast reruns, obviously. At the time, I was too young to see it when it was originally released in theaters, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite films from the 80s, and definitely it mixes drama and comedy in equal parts, and it's one of those kinds of films that it grabs you and it never lets go, and definitely a classic. Definitely recommend this one. Eventually, folks, I'll be talking about all of these films separately, especially the films directed and written and produced by John Hughes. But yeah, I'll also be definitely getting Blu-ray editions of these films eventually. And there's also other 80s teen comedies as well that I don't have on DVD, but like, for example, Back to the Future starring Michael J. Fox, also Teen Wolf. There's also other teen comedies that I might have missed talking about, and definitely getting them on DVDs. But I'll eventually get them also on Blu-ray and talk about them too. So, yeah, as I say, I mean, I was born in 1978, and the thing is that by the time that I was 10 years old, it was 1988, and a lot of these films were already way past their original years when they were like shown in theaters and whatnot. So of course, I didn't get too many chances to see them on TV and broadcast reruns. I think in 1988, I'm not too sure if my family had cable at that time. I'm not too sure. Maybe they had, well, years ago. Sometimes it's a little bit foggy with the years. I'm 46 years old and I'm not exactly getting any younger. But yeah, but years and years later though, living on my own and getting a chance to see them on broadcast reruns on cable and whatnot. Yeah, once I seen them, and then I definitely wanted to get them on DVD. And yeah, they're just, for me, they're all-time classics, but especially the John Hughes films. I really enjoy them. And you folks out there, what are your thoughts and memories of watching these 80s teen comedies and dramas? What are your memories of them? What were your favorite scenes from these films and others that I didn't mention? Or if there's any teen comedies or dramas that I didn't mention previously in the video, please let me know in the comments. Please share your thoughts and memories of these great 80s films. And I guess that's it for now. So until the next time, folks, take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and I'll be seeing you later. So long for now.